millennial. People born between 1980 and 1990s. Yeah, but like what makes you a millennial?
Like culturally.
Yeah. Like what?
I feel like if you like grew up in like Y2K era, like if you were around and you remember like when the year 2000 and like everybody thought the computers were going to reset and like all that,
Yeah,
then you're a millennial.
I remember
And
that.
like I think millennials are unique because they grew up mostly without the internet and like phones and all that. It only got popular once we were like in our like teens, like high school and later. Like most of us were either in high school or college when cell phones and the internet and like Facebook and like all of that was brand new. Like we were
Well,
like the target audience for like the internet. We were like the internet's guinea pigs.
I didn't have text message in was it
I didn't get it until like junior or senior year, I think.
okay, that makes sense because I'm older than you. So like I didn't get it
Yeah.
till college. And
Okay.
then my mom like calls and she's like, your phone's getting shut off. Like I called you on your
That
phone
happened to me too.
to
Like you
tell
went over the
you,
text. It's like you get like 100 a month.
bro. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, whose role is it to give us
It was
only
like 50 texts a month. I know
and
it
I'm
went by in
supposed
3
to
seconds. And then after
wait
that, each one cost like $1.
10 cents. It was like 10 cents for
Yeah.
outgoing and then like $1. I don't even know, but like something for incoming. And so I'm like, so how am I supposed to tell these people to stop texting me?
I
Like,
know.
don't text me because
I
like,
know. I remember that. We
uh,
got that. We got that treatment too. Our phones got shut off in the middle of
yep.
class.
I was like, what? Like, why did you even give me this? And now you're putting stipulations on me? Like, I can't.
Hey, Mako.
Hi, back. Okay.
What is that? A bottle of wine? Mac. What? Our viewers are going to get the wrong impression of you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Okay, well, whenever you're ready, Laura, you start us off.
Okay. Fix my mic. Okay. Me. Welcome to the ICEBOX. We got a lot to say. Welcome to the ICEBOX. She's a sleepy, tired baby.
That was
What's up,
good.
guys? I think that might be our new intro. We've been looking for like one that would stick consistently, but I think we might have found it. So we are back. We have a lot to discuss. Well, Mac might have a lot to discuss, but we have a special guest with us, with Coach Madeline and Coach Laura. We have dun, dun, dun,
Dun, dun, dun.
Mac, attack, Mac, attack, get back. Mac, attack, Mac, attack, get back.
Okay, solid.
Yeah. So before we dive into that, we're going to continue on with our 10 seconds. And yes. Maddie's up first. Go.
Okay. Today I had pumpkin bread for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, essentially. First, or my mom, I went to my mom's house and trained her, and she had made fresh pumpkin bread. And while I was there, I saw my little sister who said she was going to make pumpkin bread swirled with homemade marshmallow fluff. So I met her. Yep. Met her for like a little hike and then got that. So, and it was pretty much the last thing I ate. Now I'm on a fast. Technically, I'm not supposed to be drinking either. So I'm on a very loose fast, but it's a Jewish holiday, Yom Kippur. So this is like a high holy day in Jewish holidays. So essentially, it's like an atonement for your sins day. So I'm fasting now until tomorrow night. And that is like the conclusion of the celebration of the Jewish New Year. And so that's my 10 secs. Yes. Pumpkin bread. Okay. So straight into fasting.
Whose pumpkin bread was better?
Oh my God. I don't know. Emily, I don't know. They were both so good. I'm going to say Emily's. I'm going to start a war.
Marlene's not watching.
She's definitely watching. Hers was good. Hers was so good too. They were both good. I don't want to choose. I have love for every pumpkin bread.
Yeah, I do love pumpkin bread, so I wish I would have been able to taste and been the judge of that.
I couldn't even like wait long enough to take a picture for my Instagram. I just put it in my face.
I would have done the same.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard to wait. Ugh, it's okay.
Graham eats first, not with
we'll
me.
We'll take your word for it.
Yeah, it was really good.
Should I go next or Mac go next?
Let's save Mac for last.
Okay. I have like quite a few 10 seconds.
Uh-oh.
My first one is that Instagram has been not working on my phone.
Oh yeah.
All day. I don't know why. I've tried everything. Every time I go to the app, it just like closes it and then brings me back to like my home screen, which I don't understand why it's doing that. I've Googled it. I've YouTubed it. Nothing works. I've deleted it. I've restarted my phone.
Wow.
I've deleted the cache.
That's so annoying.
It's been all day, like literally this morning since 5:30. So I don't know and it's very irritating because I had a very good deadlift video that I wanted to post.
Wow.
And then the second thing is I wanted to post my deadlift video because I wore wrist wraps today.
Oh yeah, we were just talking about this.
Yep. Yeah. And I thought it would have been cool to like show people that like we do it too sometimes. Like,
yeah.
But the purpose of me wearing them was not because I needed help lifting the bar. The purpose was because I was using a men's bar because my oh so wonderful husband Dennis didn't want to use the girl bar and we were sharing a bar. Whatever.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, you would think, I feel like guys want to use girl bars. They're smaller. They get like,
yeah.
I don't know. They have better grip. I don't know. So he didn't want to use a girl's bar. I had to share a bar with him. My hands kept slipping. And I was like, if anything's going to slip, it's my ass, not my grip. So
Right.
I got my wrist wraps out and I wrapped them. And the whole time I'm thinking, like, wow, like how many times have we seen a video and we're like, wow, they're wearing wrist wraps. So I wanted to post it, but well,
hopefully one day Instagram starts working again for you and you can realize your dream of posting this deadlift video.
It was actually really good. I have it right here if you want to see 22 seconds of my life.
Okay, let's see it.
Oh, can you see it?
We can make out shapes. It's very abstract. Oh, there you go. Nice.
But the wrist wraps are on.
That last rep looked really delicious.
But that was my against wrist wraps. I don't know if we're like against wrist wraps.
I don't think I didn't like it's not like an every time you deadlift type thing. Yeah.
We're all about natty. Natty, is that what you say?
Yeah, natty.
Natty.
Raw and natty.
Raw and natty.
Okay, how many more 10 secs do you have, Laura?
That's it. I know I said a few, but I forgot the third one.
So okay, well, if you remember, we can come back to it.
That's all I got.
But Mac, you're up. 10 secs. You talk about anything you want about your day or your life or anything for 10 seconds or 10-ish seconds.
Okay. I cleaned up dog poop for the first time in like 3 years today. That was fun. I really enjoyed that. But I also, bright side, dyed my hair. Didn't think that it was going to turn out good, but it looks good. It's pretty solid. Like, I got some highlights going on. I'm really happy about it. That's my 10 cents.
Okay. Fabulous. I want you to give us one more 10 seconds that you didn't already tell us before we started recording.
Okay. I think it's going to take me 10 seconds to think of one.
That's okay.
But
did you watch like any good shows or movies or like?
Oh, you know what? Me and Latham started watching what is it called? A Patient.
Oh, I heard that was good.
Is it?
I only saw the last like episode that just came out and it was so like psycho. Like I'm like, ooh, I love this.
Yeah, that sounds right up my alley. I'm glad you said, I'm gonna write that down actually. Yeah, Psycho. Patient.
Patient.
Yeah. Patient. Okay. Patient
with Steve Carell, right? But he plays Hulu, like a crazy guy. Yeah.
Yeah. He's like,
Hulu,
oh my
okay.
God. It's like he's like Jewish, and there's like this whole thing. They have a little bit of the Holocaust that plays into it. Like,
Wow.
it's super. I think it's really cool. I've only saw the last episode that came out, so I have no idea how it really starts. I just got it explained to me real quick, 10 seconds.
Okay. All right.
Really good.
There we go.
I love that.
Okay, so I'll just give like maybe a little formal intro for those of you watching who do not know Mac. Mac is how old are you, Mac? 21. Yeah, right. Drinking from the bottle. I forgot. Mac is 21 and she has been in the Navy for like 6 months, right?
It's been like a year.
Yeah.
A year? I thought you went in April.
It's almost been, yeah, it's been like a year and a half, a little over.
Oh, a year and a half. Damn. Okay.
You're thinking of last April.
Wow, that's crazy. Okay, so a year and a half in the Navy. And right before Mac joined the Navy, she started lifting with ICEBOX, and she was coming to our classes in the park, like right after COVID. And then she started lifting with us right before she left last April. And so now she's had some experience in a lot of different avenues in the Navy and like training for a bunch of different things. And she's met a lot of people and she's probably learned a lot. So we thought it would be cool if Mac shared her thoughts with us about what it's been like as like a young girl. She's tall. She's a tiny little girl too. How tall are you, Mac?
5 foot.
5 foot, 5 foot, probably, but just a lat spread like you would not believe.
And some
But she's
quads.
yeah,
Some quads that I want to bite.
but she's a little girl in a big bad world. So we want to hear what that experience has been like and what working out and fitness and lifting and all of that has meant to you throughout your journey. So that's Mac. And let's start with like what it is that you do for your daily or your typical workouts, like these days, what it is that you do.
Generally, I've been like, I'm not necessarily like, I used to make the programs. Like, as soon as I got here, I was like, I'm gonna make myself programs and wrote it out. But generally now I'm just like, I just find whatever lift I will feel like doing that day and lift as heavy as I can. I know that's like not what you're supposed to do, but I've just been kind of like the gym's kind of my safe place, and I just am there for fun now instead of like specific. Like, I have goals, but it's not like specific, so I just kind of have fun with it.
Okay, so
I
when you
love that though. I love that.
Yeah, I do too.
I always tell people like if they are like stuck or they like, don't want to work out, like just go do your favorite thing in the gym. Like go pick out your favorite thing and do that, because that is better than doing nothing.
Yeah, so when I started working at the command, like at my job, it like took a toll on me because we were working like 12-hour days. I like wasn't really taking time off. Like, I didn't like I skipped the gym so much, and I'm like, that's not regular for me. Like, I never skip the gym. And I was like, I'm just gonna go and do like calisthenics or just deadlift or just whatever, like whatever felt really good that day. And that kind of got me back into it. And now I lift like pretty consistently again. That lasted like 2 months ish. And now I'm like back to it.
How has your shoulder been since that day that we worked on it together?
It's been okay.
You have not worked on it one time since that time, have you?
I totally have. Yes, I have. I work on it every single time I go to the gym for any upper body. I do the exercises as a warm up, and then I do it as like a quote unquote cool down. I'm so serious.
Okay.
I also do
Okay.
Jane Fonda's every leg day, so don't come at me.
So why does it just feel
Yeah.
I'm not really sure. I think it's I don't know. Like, it just kind of isn't nice. Like, it's not nice to me. Like, I do the shoulder exercises Maddie told me. I do like TYs and I's. Like, I try really hard to get like really warm before like benching or really anything upper body. But it just depends on the day. Like, sometimes it'll be fine, and sometimes it'll be like, holy shit, this hurts. But I can squat now again because like I do low bar, so it was really fucking up my shoulder when I would do it. But now it's like fine, and then I lift like regular weight again. Like, it's better, but it's not like perfect.
Does it bother you while you're benching or overhead pressing?
Not while I'm doing it, usually like after. It would only before we talked, I would like bench and then it would like try and give out, but now it's like back to normal. Good. It just hurts a little bit after.
How long ago did you guys speak about this?
A while, I think.
It's been a while. It's been like a couple weeks at least.
Yeah. Although I don't know, I have no concept of time. I thought she left 6
Apparently.
months ago.
Barely. Yeah.
I know. You're like a while ago, she thought it's been a couple weeks. Hold on. Well, now I'm confused. But a couple weeks and it's starting to feel like normal. I feel like if it truly has been a couple weeks and it's starting to feel like normal, I feel like that's good. That's good timing. I mean,
yeah,
you should do them every day, but who am I?
Okay, so Mac, tell us like when was the very first time you ever really got into working out or like went to a gym or did any type of like exercise?
So in high school, my freshman year, I heard about the wrestling team and I was like, that sounds sick. And I tried out and I didn't make the team because I sucked. But I went my sophomore year when I moved to Vegas and I got on the team. I joined varsity, everything, started working out there. But I didn't really know that was like exercisey. So like, 'cause I was a big girl. So like after high school, I like wanted to join the Marines. I started like doing push-ups or whatever, and I kind of gave up on that again. And then I tried to join the Navy and did the spec corps thing, and that's when I met you guys. That was the first time I ever like lifted any weights or anything like that.
You didn't lift in high school at all, or you just?
So for wrestling, like we had I think a couple of days where we would actually like lift weights, but I never like could lift more than like 30 pounds. Like,
did they have like
knowing that I'm strong, like I couldn't.
Did they have somebody giving like instruction, or was it like, here's the weight room, go?
Like here's the weight room. Yeah. Just kind of like pick up the hex bar, put it down. Like
okay, so you wrestled for 3 years in high school, sophomore, junior, senior year?
I wrestled for part of my senior year, yeah. So it's like two-ish.
2-ish. Okay. And were you like in love with the sport? Did you enjoy competing? Did you enjoy training? Like what kept you there for 2 years?
The competition of it. Even though I wasn't necessarily the best wrestler, it felt super good like to like accomplish something and to be like, here's your medal. Like I'd never gotten a medal before. I was like, a medal? Are you fucking kidding me? Like fantastic. Like I'm so excited for this. Like I don't know. Yeah, I guess the competition aspect or like beating people up aspect, like being strong at people, proving myself kind of thing.
Okay. And so that what happened in the middle of your senior year that caused you to stop?
Matthew, my ex.
Oh,
yeah. I dropped out of high school. Yeah.
Yeah. You were like, you know what? This guy is better than anything this place can offer me.
Really, really unattractive man. I'm gonna go with him and I'm gonna ruin my life.
No, it's okay. Listen, we all sometimes take a path, a certain path. That's okay because we're here now. But okay, so Matthew, and then we dropped out of wrestling, and then that was it. You didn't work out again until ICEBOX?
Yeah, till spec war, and then Greer showed me ICEBOX.
Okay. And so talk about that experience. What was that like the first time you tried it, or how did you feel? Or
the first time at ICEBOX?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I walked in with my little blonde hair, no hair, and I was like super nervous. And then I had no idea what was going on. I was like fucked up. Like I couldn't function. And like you guys were all doing stuff that I didn't understand. And then I don't remember who, but somebody came up and like taught me stuff, and like it almost like clicked, and you guys like instantly were my coaches. And except Maddie, you stole my phone. But I still have that video. But I don't know, like the environment of ICEBOX was just so like perfect. Like I fit in. I felt like really well with you guys. You guys were all super sweet to me, and like you guys taught me more about lifting and like everything. Like you guys are all my best friends.
Aww. We do love you, Mako.
Love you guys too.
Okay, so you're able to kind of take what you learned in ICEBOX as far as lifting, and for the past year and a half on your own out there in the Navy, you've been essentially able to keep up your lifting career entirely on your own in the gym. Do you ever feel intimidated going into a gym like with all these guys, or do you feel right at home? Of course you don't.
I walk in and they're like all like, who is she? And I start deadlifting and somebody complimented my form and I was like, I'll give you my coach's number. Like
okay, so do you feel ever intimidated walking around the Navy like in other arenas, like when you're doing your like work and in that type of environment? Like talk about that experience a little bit.
To be honest, like I showed up and like instantly started working. I feel like I didn't really, but it was like a couple weeks, but I instantly started working. I just like picked people and followed them around and I was like, I'm just gonna act like I know what I'm doing. And people really like took that as like, oh, she like wants to work and everything. So it was never really an intimidating factor. But it is intimidating. Like I'm about to go on deployment. Like it's terrifying. Like I'm gonna be in freaking Singapore. I've never been outside of like Las Vegas and California. Like I'm about to be in freaking Singapore on a boat with a bunch of people that I barely know. You know, it's like that aspect is super intimidating, especially being a girl. We have like the most women that have been on a deployment at our command on my deployment. So like being a girl, like our our officer in charge, she's like, yes, women, like let's fucking go, let's do this, like we're all gonna be great. And it's like it's kind of nerve-wracking because like a lot of, at least in my experience, a lot of women are like more competitive and it's like a little bit more difficult, you know. But in my debt, I've got 2 other ATs, which is my job, and they both suck. My lead,
and they're both chicks.
They're both men.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
But they both suck. But all the chicks there, like they're all cool, but it's like really intimidating going into it with it because like you don't know how it's gonna end up, and like the Navy's really like a weird how you say, like click, you know what I mean? Like a lot of the women don't really get along, unfortunately.
Why do you feel that they don't get along? Do you think they're just like catty, like high schoolish, or are they like threatened and intimidated by?
Threatened and intimidated. So like you'll notice like the prettier girls and the like less prettier girls, like as rude as that is to say, like they really click together because they don't feel intimidated by them. But as soon as like if I walk in, like people have to get to know me before. That was sounded really egotistical. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So you think
like,
you're pretty?
Yes, I do. Thank you very much. I am. Thank you. Like if I walk into a room like with all these guys, like I have a lot of guy friends, and in my experience, like women in the Navy are very boyish. Like they get along with men a lot easier, but like obviously in that like situation, like men and women in a small space together at all times, like we're there for like 12 hours a day, you know what I mean? Like you're obviously going to get to know each other, make relationships, everything like that. So people start to like each other, and as soon as like someone like me comes in and I'm like super friendly, I love everybody, like I get along really well because like with guys, because I grew up with guys, like it's never been hard for me to like make guy friends. But it's not like that in the same aspect. Like I don't see any of them like that. Like they're all like my brothers. So they take me, like being able to hang out with them outside of work or whatever, they take that into like a really catty way. And it takes like me taking them out for them to realize like, oh, like this is okay. And like that's the only bad thing about women in the Navy is like it's hard for like everybody just assumes that everybody is something that they're not in the entirety of the Navy. I don't want to say the word.
What word? Lesbian?
Is that all girls? Is it like that's lesbian? That kind of?
Did she say lesbian?
Who's a lesbian?
Is that what she said?
Mac is a lesbian.
No,
She's coming out on the podcast.
You're a lesbian.
Just coming out of the closet. Hey, you want me to closet? I can come out of it if you want.
Okay, no, but I'm saying like I don't know what you're describing. Like, isn't that just
women?
It's not just women. Yeah.
I think it's
100%. Yeah,
I feel like it's more like it's more like relevant because they're so confined to this like small
Yeah, it's almost like a
space.
reality show. It's like Love Island or something. They're all stuck here together.
Like,
yeah.
Whereas like in real life, we could walk away and like they can't. They're like stuck. Like
that's where it gets like nerve-wracking to go on like deployment with all these people because you're like I have nothing against women. Like everybody can do their own thing, you know what I mean? Like, but it becomes like to the factor of like men and women together. Like there's some people who can be friends, but a lot of like especially younger women nowadays, like they can't figure out what a platonic relationship is. Like so it's
what do you mean? What's younger to you at 21 years old? What is a younger woman?
18.
My age. I'm not saying that
okay.
I'm not saying that I'm older. I'm just saying like my age of people, like anybody below like 25 really.
I feel like a lot of people that I grew up with too, like Dennis has a lot of like girlfriends that like are, and for him that was like normal, but like my age that wasn't like a thing. Like even, I mean, I guess he is older than me, but like even people that were like my age, if you were hanging out with like all these guys, like people like or women assumed that you were like, you know, hooking up with them or whatever. And I don't know if that's like a age thing. I think it's just women. Like,
but
I don't know.
It's a different environment though, because you have to realize that we're surrounded by guys. There's like per shop, there's like 2 women, and then you're surrounded by guys. So when you think about it, it's like if a guy had like all those female friends in the Navy, like that would be like, whoa, like what are you doing? But like as a girl, having guy friends is like pretty regular, like normal. If you didn't have any guy friends, you're not gonna have any friends at all, because it's mainly just men. Like it's a very male dominated like career path. Like
I was gonna ask. So like you said, you have the most women in your like division right now or something.
Yeah.
And so like how many women is that?
7, including our officer in charge.
And compared
how many men?
Yeah.
So let me count. It's 1, 2.
She's not 8.
5, 6. I want to say like 14-ish.
Okay.
So half of
So there's like 2 dudes for every chick.
or 1 woman.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you ever feel I guess like unsafe around any of these men?
No.
Or
I
awkward?
mean, awkward maybe, yeah, because sometimes like people like hit on you and you're like, we're at work right now, like, what are you doing? Like I'm confused. Like I don't understand.
Yeah.
But like usually like some girls like actually there was this one chief who he actually got in trouble for this. He would like touch a lot of the guys. So like he'd like not touch, but like he like rub their shoulders, like hold their hand for too long or like whatever. But it's actually
massage.
Like,
what's his number?
Exactly.
I need a massage.
But yeah, I mean, I haven't really had any like bad experiences, or seen any really bad experiences. I just know that a lot of people like date each other. Like most people in the military date other.
I mean, it just sounds like college, really.
Yeah, it's realistically. I mean, like, I didn't go to college, but it's like high school.
I grew up. Well, I was born and raised San Diego. I'm military. Navy is all right there, and that was I mean, they would always say like, oh, the guys were like hooking up with the girls, like, and it's just like a big old like Love Island thing. Like it's just a mess, kind of.
It is. It's definitely a mess. There's definitely something that could be changed, but.
Well, so what's your favorite?
Yeah.
How do you change it? You don't. You can't change that.
It's human nature. Guys are guys.
I just mean as in like first like people wise, like if it was made more clear like why you shouldn't date the people that you work with. Like I feel like that's really obvious, but some people just don't get it. You know what I mean?
Some people are like, what is it called? They follow their heart on that. Like they're just like, they think they're in love, or I mean, who knows? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
There is a rule though, I thought. You can't like
So there is a rule of it's like E6 and above, which is like a first class. You can't like date them, so you can't date a chief. Unless it was already you were already dating before they became a chief. Or even then, like an airman could date a chief as long as they're not in their direct chain of command. Like they work at different places, like different commands.
What about infidelity? Is that a big, huge thing?
It is a huge thing. Yeah, you actually go to mass. So you go to like a court, essentially, it's military court. And there's like a lot of people like going through divorces and stuff. Like my friend, I'm not gonna say his name, but my friend is going through divorce, and and his ex-wife is currently seeing somebody else, but so they're separated, but the divorce is not final, and she's pregnant right now. So she is getting kicked out of the Navy because she's pregnant, and they're fine, and it's not his kid, and they're finalized. Their divorce is not finalized.
Wow.
So, yeah, they take
like
it
a
super
huge
seriously.
thing. Yeah. But I mean, if you guys are all on the boat and like somebody would have to tell, right? Like,
yeah. So somebody would have to tell,
caught,
or the spouse would have to. Yeah, the spouse would have to find out, whatever it is. That happens all the time, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy.
That is crazy. Okay, so what's your favorite thing about being in the Navy?
My favorite thing, I like that I've met so many of like all of my close friends here. Like I've met from the command. Like you don't expect to be friends with the people. Like once you join, like you don't expect to be friends with any of these people, and then you're like, oh, everybody's really freaking cool. Like I met this girl, she like talked way too much, like insane amount. And like I could not stand her when we were in school together, but now we're on the same desk together. And I really like her. Like she's a really cool person. You get to know people.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't take your time out of the day to go and get to know them. Like Latham, I'm staying at his house, like like watching his dog, like I never would have gone up to him and talked to him. Like that man is yoked. He's like wide as fuck. I would have been intimidated by him. I wouldn't have like gone up to him, you know what I mean? But like somehow we like made friends, and I've got like this big friend, like lean on people.
Community and support. Yeah, that's important.
Yeah. Are they all traveling with you when you guys go to Singapore? Or
no, so me and my friend of the friend group is Penrod. He's coming on the deck, but everybody else is staying here.
Wow.
So
you'll make new friends. Yeah.
Same brain.
Yeah, I mean, I made friends with people. So the thing that sucks about that part is that like friends come and go kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. It's like you would form these attachments and then they get taken like away. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that sucks.
Is that the hardest part of being in the Navy, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Or has that been the most challenging thing for you in the last year and a half?
I wouldn't say it has been the most challenging thing. It does really suck. Like,
okay, what's been the most challenging thing?
Just getting used to adjustment. Like getting used to like moving so much and like being thrown, like you don't know what's gonna happen. Someone could just be like, hey, you're leaving tomorrow on the boat, like bye.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just have to get used to that. Or like it's like almost like a culture shock in like a different kind of way. I don't really know how to explain it, but it's like it's just really different. It's getting used to like a different way of life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially for you.
Do you think being physically fit in like shape or do you think that like that has helped you, or do you think that you could go in and not be in any type of shape and do just fine?
You realistically don't need to be in shape. Like anybody could do it. They make it to where you can get in shape, like when you're in boot camp or whatever. Like you have to pass, it's called a PRT, physical readiness test, once a year. And like the standards are not, like, in my opinion, not as high as they probably should be. But to be fair, like the Navy is mostly like there's a lot of ITs or like just people who kind of.
So what are the standards?
Like for my age group right now, the maximum push-ups that you can do is like 47. And I'm like,
what's the minimum you have to do?
It's probably like 14, I think.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty attainable.
It's super easy.
You would be surprised how many like women cannot even do like.
I mean, I believe that they couldn't do one, but if you're like somebody who doesn't work out at all and you're like, you know what, I got like, fuck it, I'm going to join the Navy. You could pretty easily, with a little bit of dedicated work, get to 14 push-ups. Like it wouldn't take you that long. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like they're asking for a 6.5 minute mile.
No. Yeah, and the mile time is like pretty simple too. It's like 12:30 or something like that. Like
for one?
For a mile and a half.
Oh, mile and a half.
So what is that
fast?
I think my time now is like they changed it within like the last year, but it's like 14 minutes
for a mile and a half.
Yeah, for a mile and a half. So it's basically like you could jog it pretty easily. I mean,
you'd have to be like an 8-minute mile pace for 12 minutes.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess it's like different for me. I look at it a little bit differently because I had to get when I was trying to get my dive contract, everything was like a lot higher standard. So it kind of like,
yeah,
it like intensely dropped. Like
that's true.
Like, I was like baffled that happened. Cause when I tried to join the Marines before the Navy, and like there's really, really high standards. Like, okay, now I don't think they're that high, but for me at the time, they were really high standards, and it just like shocked me. Like I don't know. I personally think that the Navy could probably higher in their standards, but also again, like a lot of people have desk jobs, and there's like no reason to like we're not out there shooting guns. Like
yeah. Mm-hmm. Would you recommend the Navy to somebody who like wasn't sure what to do with their life? Like who do you think that, like, I don't know, like, do you feel like it's so far a year and a half in, you're getting from the Navy what you hoped to get?
I see a lot of unhappy people on a daily basis, and I hear a lot of their stories, and the Navy doesn't necessarily, I don't want to say that it's like a bad place, because I think personally, like where I came from, like being homeless, blah, 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 you know, like it put me in such like a good position to never have to go back to that like I'm happy with my decision that I made. But if you just want college money or like whatever, it's not something that's going to be the hardest challenge of your entire life. You know, like you're gonna, like college would probably be more challenging than this, because it's kind of like college. You have to like learn every single day, like you to get qualifications, everything. Like it's a consistent battle. Like I've met for like a career thing, like I wouldn't be able to tell you. Like I've met so many unhappy, I haven't gone through anything like, I mean obviously I have with like getting
what are these people unhappy about?
The Navy doesn't accommodate them. So
like,
the Navy doesn't exist to accommodate them.
Yeah. What accommodations are they wanting? Like a 5-star hotel?
Turn down service?
In a sense of accommodation, I mean like mental health accommodation. A lot of people, you struggle with mental health, no matter who you are. Like you're at some point in your life, you're going to struggle with mental health. And the idea of like free healthcare, free benefits, whatever, like a lot of people join for those free benefits, you know what I mean? And then they're like, hey, I want to go to therapy. It takes 3 months to get a consultation to see if you can go see a therapist. And then you have to get a referral. And it takes another 2 months to get it. It took me, I'm in therapy now. It took me almost 6 months to get into therapy. And I was trying every single day. Like
now that you're into it, do you think it's helping?
I see a civilian therapist. I don't know. Like it's only like my third
was that a choice to see a civilian therapist as opposed to like a Navy therapist?
Yeah, you always have a
and
choice.
Why did you choose a civilian?
Personally, I think because I know like a lot of people that join, they don't always like their jobs. So I'm not gonna go to someone that might just like be like, I want to go home. Just the same as I get to work and I'm like, I'm gonna do my job and I'm gonna do it by the book, whatever it says, whatever, and then I'm going straight home. Like I don't want to be here, yada yada. But a lot of people, Million side joined for like that specific thing. Not joined, but started like a therapy to help people.
I actually kind of am interested to go down this mental health wormhole a little bit. It's a topic that I think about a lot. How comfortable are you talking about? Like, okay, well, how about this? Kind of like, why don't you compare like your mental state right now, like how you said, okay, so obviously you're having mental health, like you're getting guidance with that, you're seeing somebody, so like you're working on your mental health right now. Compare your mental health at this state to like your mental health like in the past, let's say homeless era.
My mental state is of course like a lot better. I have a lot of mentors now, I guess. I didn't have that before, of course, but now I have like my LPOs and people who like genuinely take care of me. I got lucky in that aspect of like my superiors and people that I've been with. It's like it's a hard thing to compare to because I have more stuff going on now, but in a sense of how I deal with things and how I can like how much I can take is a lot. It's increased my ability to take things than I used to have. Like
and so what do you think has been like the biggest contributing factor to your improved ability to like handle the shit that life throws at you?
The amount of people I have that I know are supporting
your
me.
mentors, yeah, like your LPOs. So not really, I mean, like you said, you've only had a few sessions, but it's not like the therapist is providing any type of miracle. You find more strength from your community.
Mm-hmm.
And
but I also got really lucky with the people that I'm surrounded by. Not everybody gets that.
as far as your superiors, you mean?
Yeah, with superiors or like even just friends around me. Like most of my friends are technically superiors, you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
it's just it depends. It depends on like the command you get to, whatever. But also like there's some like chiefs, higher ups that like they're like, oh, I'll take care of you, and you're like, hey, I'm feeling this kind of way today. Like I'm not doing great, and they're like, screw it, go do your job. Like no, who cares? Like
yeah.
but with like me, like I tell my LPO, I'm like, hey, I have therapy today. I'm gonna leave at 2:00 and I'm not coming back. And he's like, okay, have a great day. You know, some people don't get that.
So you said that you see a lot of like people who need mental health
Yeah,
help.
yeah.
And what are most of them struggling with?
Usually depression, like anxiety, just
Yeah, that's kind of what I think too. I think depression and anxiety are like big, they're just, I think they're just huge in the culture. I'm sure it's amplified in the Navy because everything I would assume is you're like a cog in a machine to an extent. Like,
yeah.
so, and like you said, a confined environment. But like at the same time, I feel like depression and anxiety, there's not like one person who doesn't feel that. It's like a to what degree, right? It's like everybody feels depression and anxiety to an extent. Like it's just a level of degree. And I just feel like the solution to depression and anxiety is like eating right and working out and like facing yourself, right? Like the solution to anxiety is like kind of like what you said, like it's just the ability to handle whatever life throws at you and like be confident that you're going to be able to. It's like anxiety is like the fear that something is going to go wrong. And so like the cure to anxiety is to know that yes, something is going to go wrong, but when it does, you're going to be able to handle it. And like, so the way to do that is to like just keep handling your shit and like get better and better at it, right? I mean, like to an extent, I don't know.
I think like mental illness is real. Like that is obviously like a real
definitely
situation that is going on. Especially with like people, and like a lot of people like internalize like a lot of things and are very like, closed off. And I also think that like therapy is hard for people. Like you said, in therapy, I've done therapy. I've, and it's hard. I mean, you face things that you don't want to face. And if you have a good therapist, it's like you like, these are things that you're like, I mean, unless you have really good friends, but then you might get mad at them, they're not going to tell you, right? Like or somebody does tell you and then you get mad at them because you don't want to hear it. So therapy, I feel like is and you have to be open to it. Cause I mean, there's times where I've sat in therapy and I'm like, this is a bunch of garbage, like hot ass garbage. Like, I don't believe a word you are saying. Why are you my therapist? I should be your therapist. Like, this is dumb. But like,
I already thought, like,
yeah, but like, if you stick with it and like continue and like really like take a look at yourself and like really, like you said, like I do believe that I had really bad anxiety, and I sometimes still suffer with bad anxiety, but I always try to put myself in, I guess, in that like headspace that like I am able to handle this, and I am
right. Yeah, exactly. And like a good therapist will help empower a person to like feel that way and recognize like the pattern of like how to take that negative emotion and redirect it into something calming and empowering. And so
I also think feeling how you feel too, like feeling
being okay with it.
Yeah, like that was really hard for me. Like trauma, like feeling those feelings of the trauma that has happened, and not just like,
resisting,
and like pushing them down and like shoving them down and shoving them down until like I cannot shove them down anymore. And now that you're surfacing through this like anxiety and depression and like all this
uncontrollably,
right, and now I'm spiraling.
It gets to a point,
but you have to feel that, and you have to like, it's okay that I am feeling sad about this, or it's okay that this like triggered me into going this way,
right?
And it makes me sad that you guys don't have that so accessible.
It's accessible in a sense of like it takes a long time, but you can get it, you know what I mean? But like, I don't know, I think some people's brains just work differently, because like, in the least mean way to say that, like, I don't mean it in a mean way, but some people like us three, I feel like all of us kind of like get the same mindset with it. But some people just straight up, they feel their emotions, they talk about their emotions, they see therapists, like, and there's just nothing that can help. They try like medicines, they try little treatments.
I'm going to tell you my fucking hot take on that person. You ready? That person doesn't want to be helped. That person wants to stay miserable.
So to add on to what I was saying is, some people's mindsets are different. And I meant that because I felt like I was struggling with depression for like a solid 3 days. I was like, I feel severely depressed. I'm not getting out of bed. I'm not doing anything, whatever. And I was like, fuck this. I'm not doing this. And I like stood up and I forced myself to get up. Like, sometimes, I don't know if this happens to other people, but like, I literally get stuck on the ground. Like, I will just have this sudden urge to just sit down, and then I'll lay down and I'll lay in the fetal position and I'll just lay there for hours. And like, that still happens sometimes.
That's real. That is a real feeling.
Yeah.
You handled it like a boss ass bitch. Like, got up, and you.
It's just like,
and that's you should be proud of that, because like you said, there are people that choose to just lay there on the ground and feel sorry for themselves, and I feel like I feel like because I have suffered from this type of stuff, and like this like mental challenge of getting better and seeking the help, is like, I didn't want to feel like that anymore. Like, I wanted to feel normal, like, or what I thought was normal, like, I didn't want to be waking up in the morning and being like, well, why did I wake up? Like, why? Like, I just want to pull the covers back over my head and just lay here and like waste the day away. And not saying that like I never ever feel like that ever again, but then you have the tools, and you have the mindset, and you have the strength to be like, okay, I feel this way, there's something that's going on, but I'm gonna get up, because I have a whole ass life to live. And that's a gift. It's a gift to live. And
I feel like if people like, I don't think I was pure in any way. Like, I don't feel like I did anything special, but I feel like the people who can force themselves like to get up and do that, like if they, not necessarily the people that like don't want to be helped, but the people that are struggling to help themselves, like if they just gave them like a shoulder to lean on, like everybody would be picked up. Like, granted, like the Navy isn't necessarily great for mental health things, and civilian side is not really necessarily great for mental health things either. Like, nobody really understands what's going on. Some people do, but I doubt that. They got degrees. Everybody's got degrees, you know? But like, I feel like if everybody, instead of being the way that people are, like being like, oh, they're sorry for themselves or whatever, like if they really are genuinely just don't want to get better, like you try and help them and they just like, fuck you, whatever, like let them do their thing, feel their things. Some people need that, you know? But like if people who can get out of bed every day and even though they struggle with these things, like you obviously have a way in your head, and you know, like you might not necessarily know exactly what you're doing, but like you know that you have that way, you know that you can get out of bed every day. So why not help another person get out of bed, and then eventually they might help somebody else. And it's like,
what's called being a good person, I think.
Yeah.
Down to like,
but like how much easier would it be, like how like the amount I think therapy would go completely out of business if people just talk to each other. Like that's literally all therapy is like either diagnosing you and giving you medication or talking. Like, you know what I mean? Like you may not necessarily know.
It's hard. It's hard though, because like sometimes it's like that unbiased opinion and an unbiased whereas I'm not going to just go talk to John Smith on the corner and be like, hey, by the way, as a mom today, I fucking sucked. But like, you know what I mean? Like, he might be like, well, what do you mean you sucked as a mom? Like, but like as like a therapist, like I might be able to say that, and she probably will understand that I probably didn't fail as a mom. I mean, I might have not done something the right way or whatever, but it's like an unbiased, and she's not going to go call CPS. I mean, unless I'm really doing something wrong, but like, you know what I mean? She's not going to sit there and be like, oh my gosh, like, wow, you need help. Like,
when I say that, I don't mean it as like people shouldn't see therapists. Like I completely agree. Like I think everybody should see a therapist genuinely. But like if everybody could like lean on each other, it wouldn't be as pressing of a matter as it is. You know what I mean? Like in the way that life works, like, yeah, you can't go up to John Doe and be like,
maybe, but I also feel like, honestly, here's another fucking hot take. I feel like a little bit like, yeah, okay, mental health, like it's good. We should have these resources, and it's not like a crock of shit. Like, okay, it's important, but also aren't we just being a little fucking soft? Like, okay, yeah, you're depressed because you're in depressed cycles. Get off the fucking phone, get real sleep, eat real food, get your ass in the sunshine, and stop feeling sorry for yourself. Like, my God, everybody's sad and everybody has something to be sad about. And it's okay that you're sad, but like, get the fuck on with your life. Seriously. Anxiety too. I don't know. I just feel like we're a little soft. We're a little soft.
Sad, but like do something about it is what you're saying.
Well, yeah, right. And
just note, like, yeah, okay, like these aren't like, I don't know. This doesn't have to be like, oh, she's depressed. Like, okay, I don't know. Sorry.
Like you are, I mean, it's, you do have to get like you cannot offer somebody.
These are issues you can get your shit together. Exactly.
They have to help themselves. It's very similar to like an addict. Like if the addict doesn't want to get better, I could force them to go to rehab. I could force them to stay away from the drugs. I could tie them up in my house, but eventually they're going to find a way to do it if they really, really, really want to do it.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to get help, then nobody's going to help you. You have to want to get help and face the reality of your life and yourself. And the problem with friends, and like speaking, like you're saying, like if we were to go speak to a friend, sometimes friends are fuel to that. Oh, it's okay. Like, and they don't have real friends that tell them like, no, you need to go get help. Like this, you need to go and face whatever it is that is causing this to happen. You need to go and face it. This is some trauma that you've had from whatever, and you need to go and face that, and then face yourself and figure out what is causing, like, what is the root.
Right.
If I prescribe a prescription, a pill, like whatever, and we're not getting to the root of the problem, it's the same thing. Like, what are the point of Jane Fonda's if we're not going to get to the root? I'm just going to give you a cortisone shot. Like, it has to all go together. And then, but that's where you have to have the right people in your corner. Like I'll tell you right now, like I was not going to go to therapy. I wasn't going to do it. And my husband straight up said that I needed all the help that I could get. I mean, I still do, but he was like, you need help. Like this is something. And I wasn't willing to face I wasn't willing to feel the feelings and take responsibility for feeling the feelings. Like I wanted to just push the feelings away and never feel them. But you can't do that because life is real. These are real things that happen. And you have to have the right people in your corner. And it wasn't just him. It was a few of my friends and my parents and my siblings that were all like, just do it. And there were times that I was like, this is a joke. I'm actually laughing inside. Like, this is so stupid. But then it was like, okay, now here's the mirror that I did not want to face. Like, and then you face the hard shit. You face it. And
I think like I had like a part of it is that I had I didn't really feel like I got too much out of my experience with therapy. I went for like a while ago. And it was just kind of like, I felt like I just had like a neutral experience. I just kind of felt like I didn't get a whole lot out of it. It wasn't like a life-changing experience. It wasn't like I felt like some big truths were uncovered. It was just kind of like, I don't know. For me, it wasn't much more than I could have gotten on my own. I feel like there's so many resources now for a person with a phone who you could just access anything, like so much incredible content on YouTube about like ways to work and deal with and face emotions and like truths about life and like guidance that way. That for me, I get more out of that than I got personally out of seeing a therapist and telling them the details. Maybe I just didn't like her method. Like I only saw her. I didn't try anybody else. Like I wasn't like, well, she wasn't for me, but maybe something else will be. I was like, I'm good. I don't feel like I need help. So like maybe it would be different. Like somebody like my little sister, for instance, Emily, you guys all know her. She's been on the podcast. She has kind of the opposite experience. She has had incredible, like loved her therapist, had a great experience, feels like it was the best thing she ever did. So I see, maybe I'm a little jaded because I wasn't like, I didn't get like a therapist that I really resonated with.
I mean, I don't know. I could see that, but also like, I think it's just like all how like we handle like situations and like I'm very like internal. Like I will just like, all right, we're just gonna keep piling
stuffing that down.
And it's fine. We're good. We're gonna keep moving. The ball's gonna keep rolling until literally it cannot. And then it's just like, but like if you would have asked me that like 5 years ago, I would have been like, I don't do that. Like, no, I don't do that. Like you're full of crap. And I'm, 30 years old saying that I don't do that when I totally freaking do that. But it took me a while to face that. And I had to go and like talk all this crap through and figure it out. I mean, she didn't come out and say, well, it sounds like you are suppressing all your emotions and like kind of like just like pushing memories down that I don't want to like, have a memory. Like I don't want to, but it's like real life, like that happened. So like, why am I trying to avoid that memory and almost like block it out of my like memory? And she didn't come out and say that. And it was kind of like when I figured it out, I was like, oh, that's what therapy is now. Okay. Like, all right. And I still feel like there's almost like a shame to going to therapy. Like I don't really ever go around and say like, oh, I go to therapy. Like I just don't. But I also don't really advertise a lot of things about myself like on social media like that either. Like some people totally do that and like completely put it out there like, oh, I've been going to therapy and like blah blah blah. Like I am just a person. So I think like,
do you still go?
Oh delete. No, I'm just kidding. I actually, so this is like real awkward for me to say. I don't know why, but I'm gonna call my therapist. I'm just kidding. I do actually. I do. I consider it more of like a maintenance. It's really hard, like as a mom.
That's cool.
As like, I mean, sometimes I call her and I'm like, hey, like everything's cool. I mean, I don't call her, like we set an appointment like a regular person, but like I'm like, hey, everything's going great. Like I'm feeling this. But like most recently, like Dennis has been traveling a lot and it's really just been me and Aria, and like
it's really tough.
Sometimes I feel like as a mom, like I'm failing as a mom. Like you just you want to give your kid everything and it's impossible. It's like so impossible to do it. And I have to just be okay that I am a good mom. And like, even though my rope is like pretty thin sometimes, and like ICEBOX is on thin ice, it's okay. Like those are real feelings, and it's okay to be completely like just drained where I'm like, I cannot continue. But then there's sometimes where I like talk to her and I'm like, yeah, everything's going good. Like, this is what, you know, like I have in the future, or like, this is going on. And then she's like, great. Like this, I love to hear that you're doing great. Like, whatever. But, and I just think of it as like a maintenance. I probably I talk to her like once a month, and like Zoom is so cool because you could do Zoom, like, and I love that because I'm like, I don't have time to leave my house or find a babysitter. Like, we got to do this around Aria's naps. Like, but like I said, to me, it's like that unbiased. I could literally say whatever I want, and I'm not worried that I'm gonna get like judged. And maybe she is secretly judging me, but like, I don't feel that from and it's really cool. I do love her though. At the beginning, I hated her. And I was like on the prowl to find a different one. 3 months. I was like trying to find a different one. And I went and did see other people, and I hated all of them. So it's like that beginning stage where you just kind of have to like stick it out. And I'm telling you, where I was not wanting to go, we would sit there and it would be sometimes silent, because I am that person that was like, I just don't feel like talking today. Like I'm just here.
And you would just go and sit in silence for an hour?
Like sometimes, and she would just eventually she would end up like prying things out of me, not like prying like in a bad, I say that you know, they have their like techniques of like getting things out, and at that point when you are feeling like that low and somebody kind of opens the door just a little tiny bit, it kind of, you'll throw like a little tiny bit out, and then it's like okay, and then it really does take that like comfortableness to like feel comfortable with somebody. But I mean, I probably sat in there for like 20 minutes and was like, I don't feel like talking today, and I'm only here because my husband made me, and he dropped me off because I wasn't gonna come. And he was in the lobby, like,
oh my god,
come, and she'd be like, okay, that's fine, like, well, let's
cool.
What else do you want to talk about? But it's like all that mental health is connected to well, for me anyway, is connected to
it is
everything, like my workouts and my life and how I am able to support my husband and provide, you know, like, just everything. And if
everything stems from your mental health, like that has to be number one.
And if it's not, if I don't feel like that, and it's like, I say it like as a mom, but I mean, there were times before where I wasn't even a mom, and they're like, you're just like overstimulated and it's too much, and you just feel like you're literally at the end of your rope and you have nothing else to give to anybody. You're just giving. And those were feelings that it's like, it's okay to feel that. I felt that it wasn't, that I'm weird for feeling this, like, you know, like I'm a woman, we can handle it all, like we totally can, but also like there's
well, that's definitely like a cool perspective. Thank you so much for sharing that, Laura. I think that added a lot.
But I do agree, like you have to get up and do it, and you have to put in the work. It's just like anything else. It is anything else. But Matt,
so Mac, do
you said that there's times where you felt like you couldn't get off the floor, and like I've been there. I know what that's like. And it's hard. It is hard. And
Mac, do you like your therapist, or what's your read on her? What is your impression?
She just kind of feels like a friend that I vent to, is really what it feels like. Like I tell her how I feel and I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is why. And she's like, yeah, that's why. And we're like, all right. cool. And like, that's the end of the session. And I'm okay with that. I don't mind.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like diagnosed with stuff. She started like saying like I should get tested for ADHD, and I was like, anyway, next subject. Like,
yeah. Well, good. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah. It's like, even if I do have that stuff, like nothing's affecting my life. Like I function perfectly fine.
I think all that stuff is a scam too.
Yeah.
I definitely, I feel like I'm with you on that.
I just feel like a lot of people think therapy is like to get diagnosed with stuff or to be told like this is what's wrong with you, like, and sometimes it helps to like know what's wrong with you, but I feel like I kind of already know, like I could be my own therapist, and it's just nice to have someone to vent to sometimes.
Yeah. No,
So,
that's
like,
cool.
it ended up working out really well for me. Like one
I
time
love
we
it.
spent our therapy session talking about dogs. So
I've been there.
Okay.
I one time I spent a whole therapy session talking about Callie. So
I knew you were gonna say Callie. She's worth a session.
She is.
Okay, cool. Well, I don't know. What else do you have to add, Mac? Anything to this like discussion of your status?
Not really.
Was there anything like when I told you all the things I wanted to talk about on the podcast? Was there anything that like jumped into your mind that you wanted to make sure you like said or brought up or anything?
I think we had to like cut that. Like the only thing is that we didn't cover is like, or that we did cover was like the what I wanted to say. It was about the mental health thing.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. Wait, you didn't want to talk about that, or you did?
I was gonna bring it up. I wasn't sure. That
Well,
like,
that's cool.
Subject with people is like mental health, but I think like, especially because I know a lot of people now with like serious like issues, and like I don't know why people feel comfortable with me. They tell me all their secrets, and like most of it is mental health shit. Like,
do you feel there's like shame of going to like a therapist, or do you feel like people are like, no, like there's resistance to going?
I think some people feel that way, but it's all in their head. Like nobody's judging you for going to a therapist. You know what I mean? Like I mean, there might be people that do, but it's like to each their own. Like everybody works differently. There's no one solution to everybody's problem. Like
I actually have an impression that like your generation, it's almost like par for the course. It's almost like going to college was for our generation. Like it's a given that millennials go to college. It's a given that Gen Z is in therapy.
Yeah, I mean,
and I actually think that there's on like TikTok, they're like glorifying mental illness. They're trying to make it cool.
100%.
So like,
just like mental. Okay,
that's is really sad. You know,
like mental illness. Everything that they talk about is like, oh, I'm depressed, I have ADHD, I have this problem, I'm autistic. It's like everybody's probably a little autistic. Like relax. Like
I know
everybody's a little bit on the spectrum, and that's thank you. That's like, I know I'm on the spectrum. Okay, I said it, and people were like, yeah, that makes sense. I'm like, it was a joke, but okay. Like, fuck you guys. Like,
that makes me really sad because like I said, it for somebody like me that it's like hard to say, you know, that like this is I did or whatever, and I am proud of the journey and path that I have come on. It still feels awkward to say and like get it out there.
Whereas, I know, I'm so proud of you for saying it though.
No, but it feels really awkward, but but I do think that these kids are just like normalizing it. Like it's the next cool thing, but I mean, it's not like that. There's people that really are suffering with like,
well, and I feel like it's almost like a contest to see who's on the most meds. And I think that contest is fueled by Big Pharma. It's a whole conspiracy out there, people. Big Pharma doesn't want you to help yourself. They want you to be dependent. They want you to need your pills, baby.
It's literally what they do is like, oh, you know, medication helps with that. Medication helps with that. I'm like, I have outbursts of anger. It's like, maybe I should deal with my issue. I know what I need.
Yeah,
deal with my issue.
exactly.
And my therapist was like, there's medication for that. I'm like, absolutely not. Let's continue talking. Like, no, like I'm not gonna fill my body with all these meds.
That kind of bothers me too, that your therapist, my therapist has never.
It's the first session. She said, like, I like my therapist to talk to, but like,
and I was like, I was bad, like sleep insomnia and like blackouts and stuff. Like I was bad, and she never ever said that to me.
So I went to see, we call him Doc. He's like the officer who's in charge of our command for medical wise. I went to go see him to get the referral to the therapist because I kept also the same thing where like people kept telling me like you should go see a therapist, blah blah. I'm like, I don't need that. But eventually I gave in, and I went to see Doc, and he was like, oh, you have anxiety and this and this and this and this. Here's all these meds. And I was like, I don't want that. And I told him like 6 times, I don't want that. He was like, just take them. You don't have to like take the meds. Just keep them there just in case you want them. I'm like, do you realize like the suicide rate in the Navy is extremely high compared to most other like places, like extremely high. And you're just going to hand me all these meds? Like,
just to keep on hand in case one day you want them, dude, shut up.
Hand me all like what?
I was like, what? Like I walked out with like a bag full of meds. I'm like, I don't want these. Like this is not like if anybody.
Did you get me some Adderall? I'm just kidding.
I got
you. Natty or not?
Oh my gosh. But it's like
that sucks.
It's like nobody wants you to get better. They're like, take these meds to like suppress all of your emotions so you can be an emotionless like walking robot. And then then it's not a problem anymore.
Big of you to like say no, because there's so many people that would have been like, oh okay. Like, let me take whatever.
I need my pills. They like love to be on them. Yeah. Okay, well, this was a really, really, really fun and exciting talk, but I feel like we should wrap things up now with our brand new closing segment called Hot Takes, or
the Truth Kush.
The Truth Kush. Okay, so I've already given plenty of controversial opinions, but I would like to hear, Mac, maybe you could go first. You have to give us a hot take, an unpopular opinion of any kind of yours.
Oh shit. Okay. I didn't realize there's gonna be a quiz.
Quiz. Quiz. I gotta think of mine now, and I knew we were doing this.
You don't have any unpopular opinions, Mac?
I know I do. It's just
you don't fight with your friends. Yeah.
I'm put on the spot. I'm like, ooh, like.
TV shows, music, like reality stars, celebrity gossip, current events. What?
I don't keep up with any of that. Okay, controversial. That is, it might be, you might, I don't know. This is like a little intense for me to say, but like the same thing with how people are familiarizing themselves with like therapy and stuff like that. Like they're making it like a fad. I think the same thing is happening with like the gay community, trans community.
Fuck yeah, it is, dude. Fuck yeah, it is,
bro. Like, what do you like? I like. Oh my gosh, there's somebody at our command who is supposedly transitioning from a male to a female, right? But he walks around outside, like he talks like a male, he like acts like a male, all this stuff. But only thing is, he has long hair and earrings. Like that's it. But it's like, it's fine for him to do that, or her to do that, yeah, whatever, for them to do that. When like, I'm not necessarily judging, but it's like, it's so popular now that like, that's my hot take. that's all I got.
I feel like it's the same thing that big pharma is fueling this like trans movement, because when you confuse the youth about their gender and you fuck up their identity for life, you create a pill popper forever. That person now needs pills just to be normal. They don't even know. Now they're going to have mental issues too. They're going to need that Xanax, and they're going to need that sleeping pill, and they're going to need that waking up pill. On top of the whole thing, here's my hot take. I'll piggyback because that's a hot take, but this one's even hotter. The trans movement is inherently misogynistic. Yeah, that's a hot take.
Elaborate.
I think when you see the headlines or like the major events that are like occurring with involving trans people, more often than not, it involves a trans woman, so a man infiltrating a woman's space. You see trans men, women winning Women of the Year. You see trans men in female spaces created to keep women safe. You don't see men feeling unsafe. You don't see trans men taking awards and accolades and spaces away from cis men in any field. That sounds misogynistic to me.
There was like, I don't know if it was like soccer or boxing or what, but there was something that like the man, like it was a male transitioning to a female, but he specifically transitioned to a female to do female sports, like to beat females because it's so much easier. You could be an Olympic gold medalist. Like you naturally build more muscle.
But I mean, it is. I mean, I have a hard time with this because I played softball in college, and so for me, it's hard to know that I put in all like the work, was at the top of my game, like did everything that I could as a woman.
Yeah.
And then if this like man, like for instance, like the swimmer, I don't know if we're allowed to say, or we're gonna get blocked if we say I don't know how that works on YouTube, but if that happened to me, I would have been so I think it would have been hurt, because it's like telling my younger self, like all that the years and training and everything that I did to get to the top of the top and the best of the best is not good enough because a man is going to come in and take over.
Yeah. But it's a man in earrings. So that's the feminine experience. And that's the part that offends me. Like when I see there was like this trans TikToker whose TikTok is like, I don't know, I feel like it's a caricature of what it's like to be a woman, but whatever. He's like at this Forbes conference. He's been a woman for less than like 100 something days. And he's like invited to speak on his female experience. It's like, that's insulting to me as a woman of 31 years, actually living a female life and experiencing what it's like to be a woman, because it's not the same as being a man.
Well, this guy's it definitely is not the same. I will tell you firsthand. Somebody please tell me when a man has to go to the bathroom with another man because they don't want to go alone.
Yeah.
We don't want to go with each other because we want to hear each other freaking piss and fart. Like we have to go with each other because it's for our safety. Like,
yeah,
like a whole like, I don't know. And it's just, I don't know.
I experienced like a situation where like I'd never really experienced something where I was like, oh, like men have it easier, but until me and my friend, my two friends, we all went out to dinner, but we took separate cars, so they drove together and I drove alone. I had to park like 10-minute walk away. Normally that's fine, but I had to go down like this like dark alley or whatever, and I passed by this homeless guy and he like started following me and I was like kind of freaking out. I got there, I was like anxious. I'm like, give me a shot, like I can't take this anymore, like, and they're just confused as to why I'm like so uncomfortable. I'm like, this dude was literally just fought, like what am I supposed to do? Like this homeless man could have like a knife or whatever, and strictly because I'm like, I had a nice outfit on and he's like complimenting me or whatever, but he's like following me like some random homeless guy that's like very clearly on drugs. Like if they were to walk past, like he wouldn't have approached them, he wouldn't have gone up to them because they're men. Like,
well, I mean, the same type of thing happened and Dennis was right there and this guy came up and said, it was a homeless guy. Pretty sure he was on drugs. And he like came up and was like, I like your boobs. And Dennis was like, and I'm like, yeah, ain't nobody telling you they like your boobs. Like,
yeah.
Like,
I know.
And I was like, Dennis came out of like nowhere. Like, I don't know, but I was like, and then after I was like, God, that like fucking sucks. Like it was literally just, I was not even like, did not make eye contact with him. I mean, I saw him because obviously I'm like aware of my surroundings, but it was like, you don't have to deal with that. You know what I mean? And imagine if I was by myself, like, then what? I would have just been like, like, what am I supposed to do? Like, okay, take off running. Like, that's cool. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yep.
Those are all.
That was a good hot take, Mac.
Yeah.
Yay.
Does that count for all of us? I mean, we kind of went off on it.
Okay, I have a hot take.
Okay, last one.
Disney needs to stop making live real.
Oh, yeah. Is that a hot take? That's just a fact. That's just a fact.
Some people like them, and I'm just like, I haven't seen Hocus Pocus 2 yet. But we won't even talk about that. I'm talking about Aria's like into watching like all the Disney movies, like The Lion King and Aladdin and like whatever. And I accidentally put on like the live whatever version of Lion King, and I was like, they did not just ruin this movie. Like,
yeah, dude.
The Lion King is my favorite movie. I don't care what anybody says. But the live action one, I literally fell asleep 5 minutes into it.
The live action was not.
I was like, I hate this. Like, it was so bad. Like,
Aria did not care. I mean, she only will watch like 5 minutes of a movie anyway, but she probably watched like 2 minutes of that. And I was like, okay, well, we got Janie now. But people do like them.
Who?
I don't know. Who's ever still watching this, comment below if you like it.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Hard. They're so bad. They're so bad.
Yeah.
That's agree wholeheartely.
My unpopular.
No more live action remakes.
I don't have access to Instagram to put a poll up about it.
Yeah.
I'll put a poll up for you.
Yeah, I need to know who likes these live action movies and why they keep making them.
Cash grab that they didn't have to put any thought into.
Yeah. Mulan,
they just don't have any more ideas for new movies.
No, they really don't.
Dennis liked the live action Mulan, and I was like,
no,
I liked the Christina Aguilera.
Exactly. She wipes all her makeup off with just a sleeve, just like that. I love it. Okay. Well, this was a really, really good one. I feel like we talked about a lot of cool stuff on this podcast. Thank you, Max, so much for joining us and giving us all of your fabulous insight. 21 years of life. And you only drank from the bottle of wine one time this whole podcast. Did we shame you out of? There it is. Oh, okay. She put it in the cup. That was good.
Yeah. I had to make sure that, you said it was the viewers. So I'm making
tea before.
I only have one cup.
Yeah, it's your bedtime tea, sleepy time tea.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm in the Navy. It's normal.
I love it. Okay. Well, guys, thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned for our next episode. And until then, you are not hungry. You're just bored. So close the fridge.